Your latest chapter for your Google Lit Trip is Chapter 6. And if we look on here, we can see our little yellow pin showing us about where we'd be. I really like the title of this one, mainly because it says hope. I'm not so fond of the idea of hunger, but the chapter does deal with that a lot, but we also see a lot of hope. So, thinking back to the end of Chapter 5, we did kind of leave off on a cliffhanger to promote some suspense. So, let's jump in to where we see for Chapter 6. Let's get a little closer. We do find out in this chapter just how long they've been walking, and we've heard that this has been weeks of walking in hunger, which would be absolutely crazy to me. I don't think I could do that. So let's go and take a look at our spot. We do hear about a Topi or a Topi. I'm not entirely sure how to say it. Again, our area is not completely known, but we have an idea. But when we do talk about the Topi, this is what they look like with the little antlers, somewhere kind of like a deer, similar to it. So let's think back to the beginning and think about Naya. Number 1, remembering that Salva is a Dinka, what thoughts do you have about why the author might have Naya belong to a tribe that fears the Dinka? What kind of information can we see? What does this do for you as a reader? For perspectives, something we talked about last unit. Number 2, are there groups at your school or neighborhood that have fears of other groups or neighbors? What causes such mistrust? Thinking to our own current situation or areas around us might help you understand what these groups are going through and why they might be going through it. We don't completely understand because we're not in their situation, but thinking of situations that are similar in our own lives is going to help you connect and understand the characters. Always a good thing to try to do to see what in my life might match, especially when Salva and Naya have such different lives than us. Going on to number 3, where we're going to start talking about Salva again. The mystery at the end of the previous chapter is that Salva and his uncle are reunited. Do you feel as though this is a sign the story might have a happy ending? Again, we look at the title of this group, and it's called Hope and Hunger, which I thought was up here, but apparently not. So, do you think this is going to be a happy ending? And what reasons might someone have who disagrees with you? If you think it's happy, why might somebody disagree? It's probably not going to be. If you don't think it's going to be good, why might somebody think it's happy? And finally, number 4, skim back over the chapter, looking for scenes referring to animals and people living in fear of being killed. How does this set the tone for the mystery at the end of this chapter? Remembering, tone is talking about the attitude, the feeling that seems to have. It's close to the emotions. You might think of the mood, but definitely what kind of attitude it seems to be going on here. Consider that. As always, make sure to track your notes so you can get credit.